What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, I'm going to be giving you my worst of 2017. Now, here's the catch. With my last list, the best of, the top 10, as it were, I had a solid list of 10 films that I could absolutely say I really enjoyed and stuck out the most for me, personally, of last year. Unfortunately, not the same can be said about films that I hated. Now, don't get me wrong, on this list right here, which is a little bit shorter, there are a handful of films that I just didn't really like, and I absolutely can agree that they were part of the worst of 2017. But because I don't have very many films that are that bad to fill up a list, I'm rather going to fill this list with films, moments, and maybe an occasional TV show or something like that I really thought sucked last year. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into my top 8 TV and movie fails of 2017. Starting off the list, one could argue that this was kind of the pinnacle of last year's turn of events, which was Justice League, which had to go through extensive reshoots in no short part due to the fact that Zack Snyder could not complete the film because he was forced to step away due to familial issues. And one of the biggest blunders of that film was the fact that while filming Mission Impossible 6, Henry Cavill could not shave his mustache. So what did they do? They digitally covered it up in the reshot footage. And unfortunately, it didn't go so well. And honestly, guys, when you're watching the film and you're watching certain spots, it doesn't look too bad, but when you see some of the stills, it is such a dead giveaway, and it is one of the things that really draws you out of the film intensely. Through no fault of Henry Cavill's own, that was the case because, unfortunately, Paramount had him sign an agreement not to shave his mustache and to keep it for the production. And even though it didn't do much damage in terms of telling the story, it did make a big impact in visuals for the story, of course, and it's one of those things that 2017 will never be able to let down. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as you might have seen on my review, I was not a big fan of the way The Last Jedi ended, in no small part due to the fact of how they treated one of the most classic and probably the most key and important characters of the original series, Luke Skywalker. Now, I'm not going to get into much spoilers, but honestly, guys, the way that they had him going out was like the worst thing possible. And even though I've watched the film again, and again, I do admit that the film is very well done and visually striking, the point of the matter was that you can wave a whole bunch of answers at me, Rian Johnson. You can show me where it was in the Jedi manual that this works and that works and all this and that and explain your reasons. But at the end of the day, you didn't do Luke Skywalker justice. You let him die like a bitch, and there's nothing to make up for that. Tale as old as time, remake as new as bullshit. Honestly, guys, one of my favorite all-time animated films and Disney films, and actually my favorite Disney film, rather, is Beauty and the Beast. The animation is epic, the songs are great, and the story is beautiful, even if it is a classic case of Stockholm Syndrome. And unfortunately, this remake did not hit for me. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just too flamboyant for my taste, or maybe it was just too overly dramatic. I don't know, but whatever it was, it didn't translate from animation to live action so clean as I had hoped it would. And you know, being a huge fan of the original, I think that's really what did it in, is because you really can't touch the original performances and whatnot. And it's really hard to kind of capture the essence of something that was so beautifully done in the first place as an animated film into live action, which it appears to be most of the problems with a lot of these Disney interpretations is. And I don't know whether it's because they're basically plagiarizing themselves or because they're not really contributing anything new. But honestly, I can say out of all the remakes, that one is definitely the top two as far as disappointing remakes. And then right in front of that is Alice in Wonderland because of how crazy it is. And then I would say the Cinderella remake, although that one, the problem with that one was the fact that it wasn't long enough and they really didn't take it many places. But all in all, guys, wasn't a big fan of Beauty and the Beast, the live action version, and we're moving on. Number 5. So guys, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I did tell you with my review that it wasn't as good as the first one, and, you know, there were some moments in there that I was just like, well, that was pointless. One of those being the fact that Yondu was killed. And here's the thing, you didn't have to kill him to show his, you know, relationship being with, you know, Peter as kind of the father figure, and you didn't need to make his death apparent because of his importance and stuff, was already cemented in the film. I just didn't see a reason why he needed to die, especially since he was such a badass character in the first one. And in this one, he became even more badass at certain points. But all in all, it's up to the creators, and unfortunately, we will not have Yondu, according to James Gunn, come back after Infinity War. Well, we'll just have to wait and see if that's true. But all in all, Yondu's death, not a big fan of that either. At number 4 was the whole entire film itself, Transformers Last Night. Oh my god, what happened to this film? Oh man, another film from the Transformers series which basically does away with the source material, doesn't give a shit about your childhood, and really could care less about anything of coherence. How many times are we going to get burnt by this? Probably 5 more times, although looking at this first screenshots from the next Bumblebee spinoff, my interest is slightly piqued only because he's going to be a Volkswagen Bug. But other than that, I really don't give a crap, and I think they need to do a hard reboot where they take it, make it a period piece in the 80s, and give every single character their due. But that's just coming from a G1 fan who ended up loving it after his time. At number 3, we have one of the worst iterations of any DC animated movie. And unfortunately, ever since maybe, I don't know, any of the past 5 ones, we've been going way downhill, and that has become more evident as time's gone by. This film was so terrible and so useless, I felt robbed paying full price for it. It was Harley Quinn and Batman. I wish it could be burned off the face of the earth, even though it gave us Lauren Lester back as Dick Grayson, aka Robin, aka Nightwing. Finally, with the Bruce Timm universe, it still wasn't enough to salvage this train wreck, this shit pile, this dumpster fire of a film. Let's move on. And at number 2, we have the fail that was Inhumans from ABC, a Marvel production which originally started out as a concept for a film that they were going to make, but then somehow lost its momentum and became what was the TV show. Started strong with a decent pilot, first 2 episodes, got worked in there. By episode 4, the acting and quality of the entire show had dwindled down so badly, it couldn't even give you any gratifying moments in the show, and the plot was useless, pointless, all the lesses in the dictionary that you can think of, which is very sad because the actor who was Ramsay from Game of Thrones in there, and Anson Mount, who was Black Bolt, had so much potential, which was wasted and robbed thanks to this production. And like many of other shows nowadays, it got the big ugly axe, because we have not heard about a Season 2 renewal, nor do we think we want one, honestly. And it's going to join the likes of Agent Carter, and I'm pretty sure Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on its last leg. Yeah, but it was a long time coming. Marvel, just stick to movies. And finally, my number 1 disappointment for the year 2017 was the Power Rangers reboot. As a fan growing up and a kid of the 90s, I loved Power Rangers, and there's so much material for this film to pick through. And what did it decide to do? It decided to focus on teenagers, their dramatic real-life issues, and focusing on the bullshit of the story instead of actually focusing on the shit that we wanted to see, which was Zords, putties, action, morphing, time, mother, f***er. What the hell did they do to this film? If I wanted a CW show, I would have freaking turned on the TV. It was never meant to be serious. It was always cheesy, which this film is cheesy in all the wrong ways. Looking at you, Krispy Kreme. I am disappointed because there was so much potential in here. Wasted and squandered. And from what I heard, I believe they've stopped and actually canceled the trademark on the actual logo for the movie, apparently. So I don't know if they're going to use a different one or try to go in a reboot direction again, or a sequel direction, rather. But from what I see and from what I'm hearing with that action, Saban has given up all hope, and it looks like they're just going to focus on letting the TV handle the Power Rangers for the next little while anyway. Why the hell couldn't you just get some fans of the show to actually write it? Alright guys, well that's all the time that I have for today's video. Like, comment, subscribe, leave all the feedback down below, even if it's negative feedback. Tell me what you think about my worst fails of 2017. Did you think that I forgot or omitted certain films that I should have put on there? Please tell me what your worst films of 2017 and our TV shows or anything down below in the comments. And as always guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later guys. Bye.